You are broke, fat, and lazy, and the worst part is, you've started to accept it as your identity. Does that hit a nerve, or have you become comfortable in your own stagnation? How many times have you promised yourself that tomorrow would finally be different? You set your alarm for 6 o'clock a.m. with high hopes for a productive morning. But instead of rising, you hit snooze and fall back into a deep, unproductive slumber. One snooze turns into 5, and suddenly you are waking up at 11 o'clock a.m. This cycle proves that discipline is a muscle that has completely atrophied in your body. You are trapped in a cycle of instant gratification, ignoring the potential of your future self. I know this feeling because I used to be unable to wash a single dish. My kitchen was a graveyard of failure, and my willpower was non-existent. My life was a mess of procrastination until I decided it was time for leveling up. I stopped making excuses and started training my brain to handle real difficulty. Now, I spend 10 hours a day working on goals that actually matter to me. It might sound like a chore, but I actually enjoy working 10 hours every day. This transformation is not magic. It is rooted in the incredible power of brain plasticity. We are going to target a specific region called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. Think of every hard task as a way to gain experience points for your mind. Your current habits are holding you back from the person you were meant to become. Stop making excuses for why you cannot start building your discipline muscle right now. Are you ready to stop being a spectator in your own life? Change requires you to confront the ugly reality of where you are standing today. But why does that midnight burst of motivation never survive the morning? You know the feeling, it is 1 a.m. and you are suddenly ready to conquer the entire world. Your screen glows with intense speeches and cinematic music, making you feel like a future titan. Midnight motivation is a chemical lie. Your brain tells you to feel better about a wasted day. You are chasing a sugar rush of inspiration that feels great for 10 minutes before crashing. Why does that fire disappear the second your alarm clock screams at you the next morning? Watching one motivational video at midnight does not change your character when the sun comes up. You are mistaking the spike of dopamine for actual progress in your journey toward leveling up. Real change requires building your discipline muscle through resistance, not just consuming content while lying down. Your brain plasticity responds to what you do, not just the dreams you entertain while half asleep. Instant gratification feels like winning, but it leaves your future self exactly where you started yesterday. Every time you choose the easy path, you are starving your anterior mid-cingulate cortex of growth. This tiny part of your brain is the physical seat of your willpower and tenacity. It grows when you do things you hate, not when you watch someone else do them. Are you actually changing your habits, or are you just addicted to the feeling of change? Experience points in life are earned through sweat and focus, not through a high-definition video play count. True transformation is quiet, boring, and happens when no one is watching you do the work. The midnight burst feels like a victory, but it is actually a form of passive sedation. You are soothing the pain of your stagnation without actually taking a single step forward today. Building a legacy requires more than a temporary emotional peak fueled by epic orchestral soundtracks. Your future self is begging you to stop dreaming and start exercising your actual discipline muscle. Character is forged in the mundane moments when you choose the hard path over the easy. Leveling up is a slow process of accumulating small wins that eventually reshape your entire identity. Stop confusing the feeling of potential with the reality of executed action in your daily life. One video cannot rewire your brain. Only consistent effort triggers the miracle of brain plasticity. The world wants you to stay addicted to the high of motivation without ever producing results. You must transition from a consumer of success stories to a creator of your own discipline. Tomorrow morning is the real test of whether that fire was real or just a fantasy. Will you wake up and grind, or will you let the morning fog kill your ambition? Because while you are dreaming of success, the world is designed to keep you sedated and soft. The struggle is coming, and your 1 a.m. energy will not be there to save you anymore. The sun hasn't risen yet, but your phone is already screaming at you from the nightstand. That 6 a.m. alarm sounds much different now than it did during your midnight peak of motivation. Your eyes burn as you reach out, desperately seeking the comfort of another hour of darkness. In this single moment, your brain is demanding instant gratification over the goals you set yesterday. You think one more snooze won't hurt, but you are actually failing your first discipline test. By hitting that button, you are actively choosing to weaken your discipline muscle before the day starts. This is where your anterior mid-cingulate cortex begins to shrink instead of growing through the challenge. You fall back into a shallow, restless sleep that tricks your mind into staying completely sedated. Suddenly, that quick 10-minute rest turns into a cycle that repeats over and over again. Your future self is begging you to wake up, but your current self is comfortably losing. Before you realize it, the morning light is pouring through the window with a harsh, judgmental glare. You check your phone and realize it is 11 a.m., 5 hours after you intended to start. The momentum you promised yourself at midnight has officially vanished into a cloud of morning fog. Every snooze was a choice to sacrifice your experience points for a few moments of fake comfort. Waking up at 11 a.m. means you have already forfeited the best hours of your productivity. Your brain plasticity is being wired right now to prioritize easy escapes over hard-won victories. The guilt starts to settle in as you realize the entire day is already sliding off track. You promised to start leveling up, but instead you are starting your day in a deep deficit. This total failure isn't an accident. It's a predictable result of ignoring your inner strength. The midnight version of you would be disgusted by the person currently staring at the ceiling. This cycle of procrastination is a direct attack on the version of yourself you want to become. Every time you give in, you make it harder for your future self to ever break free. You are trading your long-term success for a temporary escape that leaves you feeling hollow and weak. Breaking this pattern is the only way to actually start earning the life you keep dreaming about. Today is already a wash, but understanding why this happened is the first step toward change. Your morning routine determines your identity, and currently you are identifying as a defeated man. The world doesn't care about your midnight resolutions if you can't face the cold morning air. You must realize that your brain is actively working against your long-term survival and success. This morning failure is a symptom of a deeper problem that requires a radical mental shift. If you want a different life, you have to start by winning the war against the snooze button. We live in an era where you can summon a feast to your door in 300 seconds. Imagine ordering McDonald's on your phone and having it arrive at your door within 5 short minutes. This modern convenience has turned your phone into a digital leash that dictates your every daily move. You are no longer the master of your time because your brain has been successfully hijacked. Your brain has been completely hijacked by a fast-paced world that absolutely hates the act of waiting. When was the last time you actually waited for something without reaching for a digital distraction? We have traded our focus for instant gratification, letting our discipline muscle slowly wither away into nothing. Your once sharp mind is now addicted to the constant hit of dopamine provided by every new notification. Think of TikTok as a digital slot machine designed to keep you pulling the lever for hours. You open the app for a moment, and suddenly several hours of your life have rapidly vanished. Every swipe provides a fresh hit of novelty, retraining your brain to crave constant and effortless stimulation. This endless loop of short-form content is actively rewiring your neural pathways through the power of brain plasticity. Your brain is physically changing, becoming optimized for mindless consumption rather than deep, meaningful work and focus. While you scroll, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, the seat of your willpower, begins to shrink from disuse. It is not just the apps. The entire world is now structured to provide rewards without effort. Why work for a meal when a delivery driver can bring it to your bed immediately? This culture of ease is training you to avoid any task that requires genuine patience or struggle. You are losing the ability to delay gratification, which is the foundational secret to any real success. Every time you choose the easy path, you are effectively stealing potential from your own future self. You are trading long-term greatness for short-term comfort, a bargain that will eventually leave you feeling empty. Building a strong discipline muscle requires doing things that are hard, boring, or physically demanding every day. But how can you build grit when your environment is designed to eliminate every possible friction point? You have been conditioned to expect a trophy just for showing up and clicking a single button. The reality is that real leveling up only happens when you embrace the grind and seek challenges. Every difficult task you complete earns you valuable experience points in the real-world game of life success. To win, you must intentionally seek out the friction that modern technology has worked so hard to erase. You've been playing life on easy mode for far too long, but that is finally about to change. The first step is acknowledging that your current habits are holding you back from your true potential. It is time to reclaim your focus and stop being a passive passenger in your own digital life. Prepare yourself to step into the arena and finally start building the version of yourself you deserve. Stop waiting for a disciplined DLC because you are currently a level 1 character facing level 50 bosses. If you want the power of a hero, you have to stop avoiding the basic tutorial of daily life. You might believe some are born lucky, but discipline is not a special gift or natural-born talent. In every video game ever created, players always begin their journey at the very bottom. Level 1. Why are you surprised you are failing when you haven't spent any time farming necessary experience points? If your life was an RPG, would you even choose to play as the character you are today? Success is not about finding a hidden cheat code to skip the hard parts of your own story. Think of your daily chores as small enemies that provide the XP needed for the final boss. Defeating these minor foes is the only way to increase your character's strength and unlock new abilities. Every time you complete an unwanted task, you are effectively leveling up your internal stats for free. Discipline is a skill you earn by repeatedly forcing yourself to do things you would rather avoid. This simple act of persistence is exactly how you begin building your powerful, resilient discipline muscle. You cannot expect to defeat the world's greatest challenges if you refuse to fight the small battles. Stop looking for the easy way out and start embracing the grind that creates a true legend. Each moment of resistance you overcome adds another crucial point to your overall power and mental toughness. You are now realizing that low discipline is just a starting level that can be changed through effort. The more you engage with the struggle, the more your brain starts to adapt to higher difficulty. This constant progression is the secret behind every high achiever who seems to have it all figured out. But where is this strength stat actually located within your physical body as you continue to level? It isn't found in your heart. It is hidden deep within the biological machinery of your brain. There is a physical willpower engine inside your skull, and yours might actually be shrinking right now. This isn't just fluffy self-help advice. We are talking about cold, hard neurobiology you can control. Scientists have identified a specific region in your brain that determines if you push or quit. This critical area is known as the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, your internal command center for discipline. Think of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex as a literal bicep for your soul and your future. In people who are fit and highly successful, this specific brain part is consistently much larger. These high performers have physically built a bigger engine to handle the heavy lifting of their lives. However, for those who are lazy and quit frequently, this part of the brain is smaller. What if your chronic laziness is actually a physical brain deformity you have allowed to happen? The most shocking discovery is that this piece of hardware is not permanent or fixed forever. Through the power of brain plasticity, you can actually force this region to physically grow larger. Growth only happens when you force yourself to do things that are uncomfortable or unwanted. Every time you do something you hate, you are leveling up your actual biological hardware. Think of every difficult task as gaining experience points for your physical discipline muscle. If you enjoy the task, your brain doesn't change. It only grows when you resist comfort. Can you handle the intense discomfort required to physically reshape the inside of your mind? You are currently a level 1 character, but your brain plasticity allows for a massive upgrade. Instant gratification is the poison that keeps this vital part of your brain weak and small. Your future self is counting on you to endure the friction and build this essential machinery. Your anterior mid-cingulate cortex is waiting for you to stop choosing the easy path today. This biological shift is the difference between a life of regret and a life of power. Every cold shower or extra rep is a direct investment into your neurological command center. Stop looking for hacks and start leaning into the friction that creates a stronger mind. So, how do you actually work out a piece of your brain starting right now? To begin the transformation, you must start with the very things you absolutely hate doing. Think of your brain not just as thoughts, but as a physical machine that actually changes size. Deep inside your skull sits a critical region known as the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. This specific area acts like the central hub for your willpower and your ability to endure. Scientific data reveals a visceral difference between those who achieve and those who simply quit. In fit and successful individuals, the brain part controlling hard tasks is physically much larger. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex thrives when you consistently lean into the tasks you actually hate. By attacking these challenges, you are literally building a more powerful physical discipline muscle. You are leveling up your internal hardware while others remain trapped by cheap instant gratification. On the flip side, the data paints a much darker picture for those who constantly quit. For those who are lazy and quit frequently, this critical brain region is significantly smaller. Every time you hit snooze or skip the gym, you are essentially letting your brain wither. Frequent quitting physically shrinks the very engine that is supposed to drive your future self. This isn't just a metaphor. It is a biological reality that dictates your potential for greatness. You are currently walking around with a brain that reflects your history of choosing the easy path. Fortunately, brain plasticity means you can still reshape your mind through consistent, difficult effort. Just like a real muscle, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex responds to the stress of difficult tasks. Every hard choice you make earns you experience points that strengthen your anterior mid-cingulate cortex. You are signaling to your biology that you need more power to handle the upcoming challenges. This is how you begin the process of leveling up from a spectator to a player. The physical size of your willpower is entirely within your control if you start acting today. You want to change the world? Start by changing your sheets and winning your first war. Making your bed isn't about the bed. It's about claiming a victory over morning chaos. How you handle these tiny moments reflects exactly how you will handle life's biggest challenges. If you cut corners on a messy room, you will surely cut corners on your dreams. Think of a single dirty dish as a small enemy you must defeat for experience points. Completing these boring, repetitive jobs serves as the ultimate training ground for your internal discipline muscle. You are still a level 1 character, and these simple chores are your starting area quests. Every time you force yourself through a chore, your anterior mid-cingulate cortex begins to grow. Repeatedly tackling small, annoying tasks trains your brain to handle much harder obstacles with total ease. Soon, the friction of starting difficult work vanishes as your discipline becomes a powerful subconscious reflex. Choosing the broom over the phone is a direct strike against the trap of instant gratification. Your future self is either thanking you for the order or paying for your current laziness. If you cannot beat a dirty dish, how do you expect to survive a grueling workday? Is your immediate environment a reflection of your discipline, or is it a mirror of chaos? Treat every household task like a tactical mission designed to upgrade your mental operating system today. This is brain plasticity in action, physically rewiring your mind for the success you truly crave. Boring jobs are actually high-level training sessions that prepare you for the world's most brutal challenges. Stop waiting for motivation and start using these tiny moments to flex your discipline muscle daily. True excellence is a habit, and it starts with the way you fold your laundry tonight. Every rejected impulse to procrastinate on cleaning is another victory for your growing mental strength. These microscopic battles are where the real war for your future is won or lost daily. Stop viewing chores as a burden and start seeing them as free experience points for your life. When you master the mundane, you develop the capacity to conquer the extraordinary without breaking sweat. Because every time you wash a dish you don't want to touch, you're performing a radical act of love. What if everything you thought about discipline was wrong from the very beginning? What if it isn't a whip meant for punishment, but actually a warm, protective hug? Most people treat their daily routines like a brutal slave driver cracking a heavy whip. It is time to stop the self-torture and start treating yourself like a genuine lover. True discipline is simply the radical act of loving yourself enough to want better. Think of every difficult choice as a deposit into a massive savings account for happiness. You are currently leveling up your life by prioritizing the needs of your future self. Your future self is the person who inherits the consequences of every single lazy decision. Is it really love when you let your future self suffer because you feel lazy? Consider the brutal reality of being physically or mentally unhealthy for 24 hours every day. That constant weight of poor health is significantly harder than working out for 1 hour. 1 hour of sweat is a small price compared to a lifetime of physical regret. We often mistake instant gratification for kindness, but it is actually a form of sabotage. Imagine the crushing weight of being broke for an entire lifetime of missed opportunities. Living in poverty for decades is vastly harder than working hard for several focused years. Your brain plasticity allows you to rewire how you perceive these difficult, necessary daily tasks. Every time you resist a craving, you are strengthening that vital anterior mid-cingulate cortex. This is how you build a discipline muscle that supports your weight instead of crushing. Stop viewing hard work as a penalty and start seeing it as a gift. You are earning experience points today, so that your tomorrow can finally be much easier. Are you being truly kind to yourself when you choose to stay stagnant and broke? Real self-care is doing the things you hate to create a life you actually love. Every disciplined action is a vote for the person you are destined to eventually become. Because the reality is, you are choosing a version of hard regardless of your actions. You can choose the heart of growth or the much heavier heart of permanent regret. Choose your poison, the pain of the gym for 1 hour or the pain of being unhealthy for 24. There is no truly easy path, only the choice between hard now or the weight of hard forever. Every decision you make today acts as a direct payment toward the person you will become tomorrow. You can pay the bill now with effort or let it go to collections with a massive interest rate. Making hard choices in the present is the only guaranteed way to secure an easier life in your future. When you choose the path of least resistance, you are actually signing up for a lifetime of struggle. Easy choices made today are the architects of a harder, more frustrating life that never seems to end. Your future self is either going to thank you for the sweat or curse you for the stagnation. Think of every difficult task as earning experience points to finally level up your character as disciplined muscle. Your interior mid-cingulate cortex grows stronger every time you resist the tempting pull of instant gratification today. This isn't just about willpower. It is about leveraging brain plasticity to rewrite your destiny one choice at a time. Being broke for a lifetime is a much heavier burden than the temporary discomfort of working hard now. The heart of discipline lasts an hour, but the heart of regret lasts for the rest of your life. If you keep avoiding the work, you are simply pushing the difficulty onto a version of you that is older. Do you want to pay the price now, or pay interest on your failure for the rest of your life? Every time you say no to a distraction, you are investing in a future where you finally feel free. The temporary struggle of focused work is a small price to pay for escaping a cycle of perpetual exhaustion. You are either building a fortress of success or digging a hole of debt with every single passing hour. Stop looking for a shortcut because the easiest route today is always the most expensive route in the long run. Embracing the struggle now ensures that your future self won't have to carry the heavy weight of your laziness. This is the fundamental trade-off of existence. Choose your struggle now or let it choose you later on. Your discipline muscle only grows when you lean into the friction and stop choosing the comfortable, easy way out. It is far easier to endure a focused morning than it is to endure a lifetime of missed opportunities. Remember that hard choices now lead to an easy life, while easy choices now lead to a hard life. But even if you choose hard now, one morning mistake can ruin everything you have worked to build. You think skipping that workout is the easy choice, but you are actually choosing a heavier burden. The comfort of your bed feels safe, yet it slowly builds a cage around your potential future self. We often mistake instant gratification for freedom, forgetting the long-term debt it creates in our daily lives. Let's look at the brutal math of effort versus the silent tax of a sedentary, stagnant existence. Spending 1 hour in the gym is undeniably difficult, but it only lasts for 60 short minutes. Once that hour ends, you carry the reward of strength and clarity through every other waking moment. Contrast that with the crushing weight of being physically unhealthy for 24 hours every single day. Imagine a life where every flight of stairs and every mirror reflection becomes a mental and physical struggle. That persistent lethargy is a far more demanding master than any heavy barbell you will ever lift. Your interior mid-cingulate cortex thrives on this struggle, growing stronger every time you choose the temporary pain. Now consider the financial grind of leveling up your skills through years of intense, focused hard work. It takes grit to study while others sleep and to build a career from the ground up. However, working hard for several years is nothing compared to the lifetime burden of being completely broke. Being broke is a full-time job that never ends, draining your energy and limiting every single choice. The constant stress of empty pockets is a heavy tax that your future self simply cannot afford. Every time you push through the resistance, you are literally sculpting your brain through the power of plasticity. You are training your discipline muscle to handle the weight of reality instead of collapsing under pressure. Think of these challenges as experience points that elevate your character beyond the reach of average men. The easy path is actually a deceptive trap that leads to a much harder life of regret. Choosing the temporary discomfort of growth ensures you won't have to carry the permanent weight of failure. Do not let instant gratification trick you into trading your long-term freedom for a moment of laziness. Your brain plasticity is waiting for a command to rewire itself for greatness rather than accepting mediocrity. It is time to stop viewing hard work as a punishment and start seeing it as your escape. The struggle you face today is the only thing preventing the permanent exhaustion of a broken life. Embrace the short-term burn of the gym to avoid the 24-hour agony of a failing, weak body. Commit to the grind of your career now so you never have to face the humiliation of poverty. This is how you win the war against your lower self and finally start leveling up for real. The choice is simple: suffer for an hour now or suffer for a lifetime later down the road. Build that discipline muscle until the challenges that stop others feel like nothing but a light warm-up. Your future self is either going to thank you for the pain or curse you for the comfort. You are poisoning your brain with digital sugar before you even climb out of bed today. Your brain is a biological engine, but you are fueling it with the worst possible additives. You would not put diesel in a Tesla, so why are you putting TikTok in your morning? Imagine your focus for the day is determined by what you eat for your mental breakfast. High-stimulation content acts exactly like a plate of sugary chocolate pancakes for your mind. It tastes incredible in the moment, but it creates a massive spike in your instant gratification levels. When you start with that rush, your brain expects every following task to be just as exciting. Now imagine trying to eat a bowl of plain, dry oatmeal immediately after those sweet pancakes. That oatmeal represents your real work, your study sessions, and the difficult tasks that actually matter. Because you have already spiked your dopamine, that healthy oatmeal now tastes like absolute dirt. Checking TikTok immediately upon waking provides high stimulation that makes subsequent work feel totally unappealing. The brain refuses to do boring tasks if it has already been given exciting stimulation earlier. This is not just a lack of willpower. It is a biological reaction to the stimulation chosen. Every scroll through a short-form video is an experience point spent on the wrong skill tree. You are training your brain plasticity to crave constant novelty instead of the deep focus you need. Why does work feel impossible after only 10 minutes of scrolling through your social media feed? The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is being bypassed in favor of easy, low-effort dopamine hits. Your discipline muscle stays weak when you choose the easy path before the sun is even up. Are you starting your day with actual fuel, or are you suffering from a digital dopamine overdose? Leveling up requires you to protect your focus from the very first second you open your eyes. Your future self is begging you to skip the digital sugar and embrace the boring, productive work. If you win the morning battle against stimulation, you set yourself up to win the entire day. Stop letting a 5-inch screen dictate the quality of your focus and the strength of your mind. Once you learn to control your mornings, you finally gain the power to control your entire identity. The final secret to mastering your life isn't found in a habit tracker or a digital calendar. Instead of trying to do discipline, you must focus your energy on simply being a disciplined person. When you look in the mirror every single morning, who is the person staring back at you? Your identity is the master operating system, while your daily habits are just the individual apps. You will always act in accordance with the person you truly believe yourself to be deep down. If you believe you are fundamentally lazy, your brain will subconsciously look for every excuse to quit. But once you identify as a hardworking person, the resistance to difficult tasks begins to melt away. Every time you push through discomfort, you are casting a powerful vote for your new identity. Consistent action reinforces this belief, creating a cycle of growth that eventually becomes completely unstoppable. Your brain plasticity and anterior mid-cingulate cortex thrive when you make choices that align with this version. You are finally leveling up your character by changing the very foundation of your internal source code. Hard tasks that once felt impossible gradually become easier as your discipline muscle grows through effort. Eventually, choosing the difficult path becomes your default setting rather than an exhausting mental battle. You no longer crave instant gratification because your future self is finally starting to take command. Ask yourself right now, what would a truly hardworking person do in this exact situation? Stop overthinking the grand process and start executing the small actions that prove your identity is real. Each heavy rep and each early wake-up builds the undeniable evidence of who you have become. Look back in that mirror and see a warrior who refuses to settle for a mediocre existence. You are earning massive experience points by simply staying true to the person you are becoming. Your biology actually begins to shift as you reinforce these new patterns of thought and action. The mental friction that once held you back will eventually be replaced by a sense of purpose. This is the moment where you stop fighting yourself and start working with your own nature. Discipline isn't a punishment. It is the ultimate expression of who you have decided to be. Prepare yourself, because the shift in your identity is about to change everything in your world. I am not asking you to change your whole life today, but rather to do one thing. The theory is over because the work starts in exactly 10 seconds from right now. You have 24 hours to prove to your brain that you are finally the boss. Stop searching for more motivation and pick the one hard task you have been avoiding. This is your first real experience point farm, so go out there and get it. Will you choose to grow your brain today, or will you let it shrink again? Every difficult choice you make today is a heavy rep for your growing discipline muscle. You are literally reshaping your anterior mid-cingulate cortex with every single moment of resistance. Do not wait for a perfect feeling that will never arrive to start your mission. Your future self is either thanking you for this effort or suffering from your laziness. Instant gratification is the enemy trying to steal your potential and keep you at level 1. Lean into the friction and embrace the discomfort of doing something that actually matters. Brain plasticity is a tool that only works if you are willing to exert real effort. Put down the phone, stand up, and attack the one thing that scares you most. This single victory will set the foundation for the elite version of who you are. You have the blueprints now, but knowledge without action is just another form of entertainment. Prove that you are no longer the person who just watches and never actually does. The path to mastery starts with one difficult choice made in the next 5 minutes. In the next video, we will explore how to build habits that stick without motivation. I will show you how to automate your success so discipline becomes your default state. I'll see you in the next video where we make these life-changing habits permanent.